Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland, and this is probably a bit of a controversial top 10, as you can tell from clicking on the video. But this is top 10 most emotional moments in WrestleMania history. And this topic actually just came to me today. This is about the third of 4 shows I'm going to record before SmackDown on February 27th. So whenever this goes up, just know that's when I recorded it. There's been a ton of great moments at WrestleMania. Some good, some bad. Some emotional for the best reasons, some emotional for the wrong reasons. It's all about interpretation. It's all about how you feel about the particular superstar and all that. I do want to say, though, that these 10 are the ones that affected me the most. Now, are there some that I forgot about? Yes. Could I do a top 15, a top 20? Absolutely. There's been a ton of great moments. But I want to do a top 10 because I wanted to just centralize the whole thing and open the topic to discussion. So feel free to leave your most emotional moments in the comments. And especially with a few of the ones at the top, I'm going to do my best to not start to cry, because some of them, in particular, the number 1 entrant, still gets to me whenever I watch the video. Or, whenever I watch on WWE Network or that kind of stuff. Or even when I had it on DVD, back when they did their goofy WrestleMania edited collections with all the added music. That was stupid. Anyway, without further ado, top 10 most emotional moments of WrestleMania history. Here comes the controversy. No, number 10, especially where I place this, Shawn Michaels' retirement at Mania 26. Of course, big match. I feel that the Mania 25 match that he had with Taker was better. And it's not that this was sloppy, not any of that at all. But everybody knew that Shawn was done. Everybody knew Shawn was done, and he should have been done. Shawn had done a ton of stuff in his career. He wanted to go home to his kids. He'd done everything he needed to do. He'd main event a Mania, and he main evented this Mania. So he main evented 23 and 26 during his second run. He did really, really well. The whole end of it was great because you had Shawn, of course. You had Shawn, of course, do the throat slash and that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to do it on camera, but yeah, he did the throat slash because Taker's telling him to stay down. He slaps Taker, and Taker, fire in his eyes. Well, eyes rolled back in his head. Jumping tombstone, 1, 2, 3, fitting end to Shawn Michaels' career. Taker, does his, usual post-match celebration, stuff like that, post-match pose, and then leaves. And then Shawn's of course, crying. But I'm going to drive my kids nuts in 3 weeks as he leaves up the ramp. And by the way, WrestleMania 26 is really underrated. I mean, it's not a perfect WrestleMania, but it's got a lot of matches that are pretty damn good. I don't quite get why that one isn't talked about as one of the best. Is it top 5? No, but it's definitely top 10. I'm going to ask a producer what she thinks. What'd you think of Mania 26? What do you think? What do you think? Okay. Goodness. Anyway, so Mania 26, though, was pretty damn good. And a good fitting, end for Shawn Michaels' career. So then we go to number 9, Austin versus Brett. Mainly just the build of the fact that they did the double turn. And it was the perfect double turn. Best double turn in WWE history. There's been double turns in WCW and other promotions. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to compare those or whatever. Different promotions, different styles and everything. We can always leave that up for debate. In fact, best double turn matches may be something that I do at some point, but that's going to require a lot of research, which I'm willing to do. But just the moment of Austin almost breaking out of the sharpshooter, just the blood pouring down his face and that push-up, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's like the announcers selling it and everything, and Austin doesn't quite break out of it, and then he passes out from the pain and stuff like that. And it was great because Brett attacks, Austin afterwards. Brett leaves the heel, Austin leaves the baby face, He doesn't want any help, stuns the referee, and they're still trying to, make him a heel, and nope. The crowd had anointed Austin at that point as the guy. Then he got anointed as the guy at Mania 14. Good job there, and that was not a very good match. But great moment here with Austin doing the push, trying to push up out of the whole thing, and it's just goosebumps, just major goosebumps. Number 8, Eddie and Benoit at the end of Mania 20. I've covered this before. Covered my favorite WrestleMania endings ever. Yes, it's controversial given the circumstances surrounding both of their deaths. Eddie because of the steroid abuse and the drug abuse that eventually took his life. Yes, he was clean at the time of his death, but they were contributing factors. And I love Eddie. One of my top 3 favorite superstars of all time. But I can't ignore that. And then, of course, Benoit. And you know what Benoit did? And all you Benoit conspiracy theorists, have fun with that. But just don't tell me that I'm wrong for believing that the man murdered his family. And all the evidence fucking points to it. But still, it's 2 friends celebrating with world titles when fans felt they could, be champion. But no one ever thought WWE would make him champion. So it was a good moment. And that's all I'm going to say. You can check out more of my thoughts in the top 10 best WrestleMania endings ever. And top 10 worst WrestleMania endings ever. Which, by the way, best thumbnail because I was making fun of Warrior. By the way, Ultimate Warrior's, return at Mania 30 is not on here because I don't give a shit about the Ultimate Warrior. Bottom line. Check out my unpopular opinion on the Ultimate Warrior, by the way, if you want to hear that. I'm not saying you guys can't be fans of him, that's fine, but I'm not. So it's not on here. Number 7, Randy Savage wins the big one at Mania 4. Yes, it was tainted by Hogan being involved. But the fact that Savage was finally given able to grab the brass ring and being given the big championship and everything, it was a great moment. Because Savage deserved it. Savage deserved it for a couple of years before that. The fact that he finally got it. Yeah, it was a bit of a long Mania. It wasn't the best Mania. But still, he got the big one. He got to hold the title for nearly a year. And his second title reign was about 5 months. Still good stuff. It was still great to see Randy Savage celebrate at the end with the championship that he fucking earned. And Savage, this is not the last time Savage makes an appearance in this countdown. Number 6, Taker and Shawn at Mania 25. Just the roller coaster of emotions of Shawn coming so close to breaking the streak. The tombstone and Taker's just meme-worthy reaction of just being stunned that Shawn kicked out. Shawn nearly, Shawn just going for broke and throwing everything. The dive that that Taker landed on his damn head before that. Jimmy Snuka's son not being able to catch Taker because they pulled him too far away and the cameraman should have been about, a foot closer. He could have absorbed that impact. I don't know why everybody was blaming the cameraman because Taker, 1, was too short on the dive and they didn't have the cameraman in the right place. That's just my opinion. I'm not blaming Taker. I'm just saying whoever planned that spot with the distance wasn't very smart. But Taker and Shawn, that roller coaster of 30 minutes, edge of your seat beauty, and the best match in WrestleMania history. Better than Savage and Steamboat. And that's tough for me to say, because that's number 2. That's my opinion, though. But the emotional roller coaster that those men took us on was just great. Number 5, Ric Flair's last WWE match. Unfortunately, he went to Impact. Well, did a little bit of a stint on Hulk Hogan's Hulkamania Revenge Tour, or whatever the hell it was, in 2009, which wasn't very good because apparently it didn't draw very well, which is a shame given the amount of people that were there. But Ric Flair's last WWE match, we knew it was coming. We weren't prepared for it. Could prepare ourselves for it as best we could, and yeah, I openly wept watching the show. But yeah, Mania 24, this is how Mania 24 should have ended, by the way. And by the way, check out my top 10 matches that should have main evented WrestleMania list if you'd like. But that should have ended. That should have ended Mania. But just Flair giving everything, Shawn getting everything out of Flair. Flair was 58, 59 at this point. He needed to retire. Much as I love Ric Flair, we didn't want to see a 60-year-old, 65-year-old Ric Flair wrestling. Even if he could still go. I wanted him to retire on top. Would you have wanted to see Ric Flair still wrestle WrestleMania 27, WrestleMania 28? No. I mean, you guys could if you want. That's fine. I just didn't want to. But just, especially the end, he super kicks Flair. Sweet Chin Music to Flair, and then Flair's getting back up or whatever. Shawn doesn't want to do it. I'm sorry. I love you. And boom. 1, 2, 3. And, they had a candid moment and everything. Spoke to each other. And then Shawn left and let Flair have his moment. Just that moment of Flair crying and kissing his family and stuff like that and everything, including his late son Reed. It's a real shame about that. That should have closed the show. Because, yeah, people say, oh, it would have been a downer. Not really. Flair would have gotten to main event WrestleMania. He never got to main event WrestleMania. And he should have there. I think he was involved in the main event at WrestleMania 21, technically, but that doesn't count. It's just a shame. I mean, I know for a number of years he was in WCW, so I'm not trying to argue against that, but his lone Mania match in his first run was undercard to Hogan and Sid. Flair that should have been the moment. And Flair doing that was great. That was just great stuff. It was sad, very sad. This is where things are going to start to get a little, dicey, and I'm going to try to skip over some stuff without getting emotional. Do my best. Number 4, the streak is over. This still hurts. This still hurts. It hurts to see Taker in that condition, because obviously he was concussed. You could tell he was concussed. He looked off. He looked off even before he got concussed. Because Father Time's undefeated, unfortunately. But then, boom, and that, it's like all the stuff, and, Taker almost beating Brock, but I don't know if Brock was the right guy to break the streak. I still would have had Bray break the streak. I think Bray could have benefited more from it. Brock destroying Cena at Mania would have been fantastic. But, that's way past. We're 4 years past that at this point, nearly 4 years past that. But just, Brock, of course, the third F5, and I remember vividly, the first WWE Network pay-per-view that they had. No bugs, oddly, and I didn't have the best internet at the time. I had good internet, but I didn't have the best internet to upload videos. And I wish at the time I had better internet, so I actually could have put stuff on my YouTube channel and just been like, I remember literally texting this, 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, it was like dead silence. Pardon the pun. The just pure shock. Heyman, I don't know if Heyman knew. Heyman might have not known. Brock knew, Taker knew, Vince knew. The ref didn't know. So the ref probably thought, fuck, I'm going to get fired or killed by Taker, one of the two. It was obviously planned, but just the way they played it off. It was one of the few things left in wrestling that fans took as real. And it was just so scary. So fucking scary. And seeing Taker like that. And there were some fans being dicks in the front row, and I, honest to God, hope you're never allowed to be at a wrestling event again. I don't care how much you pay for those damn seats. You show respect to Undertaker or you get punched in the face by Taker. That's what should have happened. But just Taker, just that look of him looking defeated, that should have been the end. Honestly, he should have not wrestled after that. And I love Taker. But just, again, Father Time's undefeated, but just, I get why they did it with Brock, but Brock was going to be super over no matter what. Brock didn't need to beat Taker. He didn't. But, whatever. I don't know. It still hurts, but I get why they did it. I still don't like it, but I get why they did it. Still, the whole idea of Reigns beating Taker, and it's not good storytelling. Stop that shit. I'll come up with a rant about that at some point, about Reigns versus Lesnar. That'll be on a future show. Might even be on the Go Home Raw to Mania. Which is still like a month away. But anyway. Number 3, and this is a bit of a happier emotional moment, and sad at the same time. Daniel Bryan miracle. Daniel Bryan finally winning the big one, and just, the crowd wasn't into it at first. They were dead during Batista's entrance. They were dead during Orton's entrance. Rev Theory seemed confused. Rev Theory tried. I like Rev Theory. They're actually a pretty good band, but boy, they just did. The crowd just didn't care. They started to get into it with Daniel Bryan's entrance. And they were dead silent or even with some boos whenever Orton or Batista were on the offense. But then Daniel Bryan managing, to get Batista to tap out, and just the goosebumps, the amount of goosebumps, the eruption from that arena. 70,000 plus people just exploding when Daniel Bryan finally achieved his dream. And of course there was a moment with Connor the Crusher. And I'm not going to go into that too much because I already cried enough at the Hall of Fame speech that when his dad did the acceptance, or accepted the award, and his younger brother said something, and anybody that chanted "what" at the father, you're dicks, and I hope you can never have children. Seriously, you dumb fucks don't deserve to have children or have any happiness if that's what you're going to do. I understand being a fan and stuff like that, but chanting that at a person whose son died, dick move. Daniel Bryan, though, doing that was a great moment. Gained the hoist championship. Both championships. I mean, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It was just a great moment, of course, Cole. The Miracle on Bourbon Street. Fuck you, Cole. You gotta ruin everything. Great moment for Daniel Bryan, though. It's just unfortunate. That was pretty much the pinnacle of his career. He got defended against Kane the next pay-per-view. Had to relinquish the championship. Won the IC titles in the following Mania. Was done shortly after that. Great moment with Daniel Bryan. And just, it's a shame. You wonder what fucking could have happened if he hadn't gotten injured. I'm not blaming him. Injuries happen. But just, you wonder. He would have been murdered by Brock at SummerSlam. But still, he would have gotten a 5-month run out of that. Well, 4 or 5 month run. And number 2, Taker's retirement? Maybe? The Roman Reigns Undertaker match was fucking atrocious. Reigns just isn't able to carry somebody in a main event. He has to be led slightly, because he's capable of delivering some very good performances. But his main events have gotten, his main events have gotten steadily worse. And whether that's his fault or the booking is another story. But it was bad. And then Taker, of course, getting beat and standing there and taking off, just being there when they came back and all in his gear, and taking off all the gear, folding it up and leaving it in the ring, and leaving. That needs to be it. Do not do Cena versus, do not fucking do Cena versus Taker. I mean, please don't do Cena versus. By the time this video goes up, they probably will have already announced it. I don't think this video is going to go up for at least another week or two. I just really don't want to see it because that was perfect. I mean, I didn't want to see Taker versus Reigns anyway. But boy, that was crushing. It was crushing because it was Father Time beating Undertaker more than it was Roman Reigns. And am I blaming Reigns? No, it's uncreative as much as it is on anybody else. It's on Undertaker for not saying no to Vince. But yeah, it was just really sad. Really, really sad. Taker looked done. I don't think Reigns should have beat him, but at that point, I mean, we knew it was going to happen. And number 1, and it had to be, Savage and Elizabeth reunited Mania 7. Fuck you if you didn't shed a tear during this. Now, granted, if you're a newer fan, you might not get the impact of it. If you're an older fan like me, if you're like me, and I know I am, then you would know as an older fan that this was great because you had Savage and Elizabeth on camera were split apart. Savage returned to the dark side, sensational Sherry. Queen Sherry had aligned herself with the Macho King, and it was good stuff. It's great stuff. Of course, Savage lost Elizabeth is in the crowd. Savage lost Ultimate Warrior in a retirement match. Sherry's pissed, clawing at Savage, kicking him. I try not to. Elizabeth runs down, throws Sherry off and that kind of stuff. Sherry's outside, and Savage almost hits Elizabeth. And try not to. Swear, try not to. Just dust. It's dust. It's dusty in here. That's what it is. It's all the dander from the cats. But refs pointing at Sherry. She did it. I think even the announcers were like yelling at Savage. Because it's Heenan and Monsoon, which were glorious, and it's such a shame they're dead. But boy, are they calling some great matches up in heaven. But a little bit, back and forth. Savage is just surprised that Elizabeth is there. And of course, they reunite. And whether they were plants in the crowd crying or whatever, it seemed genuine to me. Because, they focused on certain people that were crying. Including one person who was wearing like Grand Wizard's, the lost wardrobe of the Grand Wizard. It was a person in the weird hat and the weird glasses and stuff like that. I'm not knocking him. I hope they're not. I hope if they're still alive. I hope they're still alive. But I hope somehow that person watches this. I'm not knocking him. It's just a wardrobe and stuff like that. But boy, the emotion, the outpouring. Savage and Elizabeth finally reunited. Such a shame that their marriage is pretty much over by the next Mania or shortly after that. But Boy, wasn't that great. Wasn't that just great? It was a great feel-good moment. Savage was a hated heel at the time when he when he entered the match. Left as a beloved babyface. My God, it was wonderful. Great stuff. I'm going to be done talking about this, but boy, that was a great emotional moment. Not going to cry about it on camera, at least. I'm not crying. Shut up, you're crying. Great stuff, though. The most emotional moment in Mania history. Bar none. I'm not going to make any argument if somebody wants to say something I missed, and that's fine. Leave in the comments what you thought the most emotional moments were. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. Spend real honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.